So let's begin right off with another very strange one, with the Time Lord progenitor, however this is pronounced, Wargate. Yes, it's a Time Lord Synchro monster. And some of you already know where this is going when Time Lord is involved. Anyway, it's a generic dark Synchro 10 monster, fairy. Yeah, one tuner, one or more non-tuner monster. Yeah, pretty generic. Yes, we are talking about generic monster. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card that was special summoned from the X attack battled, you can activate this effect. Banish all monsters your opponent controls. Also for the rest of the turn, halve the battle damage your opponent takes. Once per turn during the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn, special summon as many monsters as possible that you banished with this card's effect to your opponent's field. So, to sum up, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from your battles where this card is involved. And after damage calculation or damage step, after the damage step, you can banish all monsters your opponent currently controls until the end phase. Another thing is, the effect to special summon the banished monster back is another effect that activates. So if you have the opportunity, you can negate this effect that special summons the banished monsters back, and the banished monsters will be banished forever. So that's why I thought very nice. No one plays that, but it actually has a great effect if you combine it with some other cards, as usual in a deck. So, Time Lord Progenitor Wargate. Yes, only has one print, I guess. Anyway, so much to that. Next one is a more or less, well, better known one. The Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. Or a Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. Something like that. It's from the Red Dragon Archfiend archetype, but it's also generic. It only needs one tuner on one or more non-tuner monster. And its effect is, the name of this card is Red Dragon Archfiend, as long as it is on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can destroy as many special summoned effect monsters on the field as possible with attack equal or less than this card. And if you do that, your opponent gets 500 damage for each destroyed card. One thing to remember, it says once per turn you can destroy as many special summoned effect monsters on the field as possible with ATK less or equal to this card's ATK. So this means you would also destroy your own monsters. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, very nice effect, and if your opponent is low on life points, you can easily burn him with the 500 life points damage for each monster that's destroyed. So generic rank, yes. Generic level 8 Synchro monster, also dark attribute again. Next one up. Yeah, that's one, why not? The Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, or the Tenyi, however this is pronounced. Also generic level 8 dark Synchro monster. One tuner, one or more non-tuner monster. If your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish that monster. Simple as it is, you know, this does not target or whatever. The only downside is this effect does not negate the effect of the monster that gets banished via his effect. If this card destroys an effect monster via battle and send it to the grave, then this card gains ATK up to the basic ATK of the destroyed monster, and it can attack a second time during the battle phase on a monster, not attack directly. So this is basically DLS as a Synchro. Okay, he can attack twice if he destroys a monster, and he gains ATK on top of the destroyed monster, and he can banish a monster whenever a monster effect is activated. So I recommend you not to use its effect if your opponent activates Ash Blossom or something like that, because it does not negate the effect. Yes. So, Draco Berserker of Tenyi. Very nice, very generic card. Was very pricey a few months or a year back, but since it's got a lot of reprints recently, it's not that expensive anymore. And a nice alternative for some pricier cards. Well, Baron de Fleur is not pricey as it was, and that's good that way, but it was a nice alternative to Baron back then. Alright, next one is the Herald of the Archlight or something like that. It's a generic, yes, level 4 Synchro monster, yay. Probably there are of course some decks that can play that. Yeah, as always, one tuner, one or more non-tuner monster, and it has actually a very bad as effect. It's very, very powerful card. Monsters that were sent from the hand or the main deck to the grave get banished instead. Yes, all monsters that were sent from the hand or deck are banished instead. And if a spell, trap, or a monster effect is activated, quick effects, you can tribute this card, negate the effect, and if you do that, destroy the card. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add to your hand one ritual monster or one ritual spell from your deck. So this is basically everything in one card. Okay, all right. It's kind of Dimension Shifter, kind of paired with Solemn Judgment and Manju of the 10,000 Hands, something like that. Okay, that's all combined in one card, and then you have Herald of the Archlight. So much to that. Okay, next one. You may think, oh, what are you talking about? This is not an unusual card. Yes, that's true. The Swordsoul Overlord Cheng-Chang-Chung. It's actually generic. Yes, it's a generic level 10 water Synchro monster. Yeah, one tuner, one or more non-tuner monster, and this card is insane. You know that, obviously. But somehow, at least from my point of view, it only sees play in Swordsoul decks. Nobody else plays that, whereas Synchro 10 is easily possible. Anyway, it says it gains for every banished card 100 ATK in death, and all monsters your opponent controls loses 100 ATK in death. And if this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish one card from your grave instead. If one or more cards are banished, except during the damage step, you can banish one card from the opponent's side of the field and one card from your opponent's graveyard. And you can use this effect of Swordsoul Overlord changing only once per turn. So you can banish and it does not target it. Okay, it does not target. So this is basically out for anything that says cannot be targeted. And it gains a lot of ATK and your opponent loses ATK on top. And where this beast goes absolutely insane in other decks except Swordsoul is if you combine that with the Sea Frame Lord Omega. So these two are you know, like Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, these two. It's also generic, level 8 light Synchro monster, and Sea Frame Lord Omega says once per turn during the main phase, quick effect, you can banish this card and one random card from your opponent's hand until the next standby phase. So you banish via quick effect at any game state, not at any game state during the main phase, yeah. You banish during the main phase any time you want, banish one, and then instantly after that effect from the Omega resolved, you can use Cheng Xing's effect and also banish again. You know, that's nice interruption with these two are on the field. And he comes back. In the next standby phase, he comes back, so you can use that over and over again. If your opponent wants to destroy Sea Frame Lord Omega via any card effect or wants to banish it, you can chain its quick effect and it's gone. And you chain this one and it's over and over again. So these two are really the Bud Spencer and Terence Hill of YuGiOh. Right. Next one. Unusual one again. Not so old, this one. Cuq the Blade Dragon. It's a common from Duelist Nexus. It's a generic level 6, yes. Generic level 7 Synchro monster. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can target one card on the field destroyed. Yes. If this card on the field is destroyed, you can target one face of monster in the field. That monster cannot attack until the end of your opponent's turn. You can only use each effect of Cuq the Blade Dragon once per turn. So this works in both ways actually. Of course you can summon this one and then destroy a card your opponent controls. But if you know that you have pretty much fucked up and you are gonna die in the next round, you can summon him and destroy himself. If this card on the field is destroyed, then you can target one face-up monster on the field. That monster cannot attack until the end of your opponent's turn. So, for example, your opponent has only Access Code Talker, alright, with 5300 ATK. Where you can obviously just destroy Access Code Talker, but maybe it is summoned with IP Masquerina, then he has only 4300 ATK. He cannot be destroyed, but you can still target him. Then you target Access Code Talker, and that Access Code Talker cannot attack in the next turn. For example, no, this is only example. So Q-Belt, level 7 generic Dragon Synchro monster. Very nice. Yeah, oh yeah, here's our favorite, the best table tennis player in the world, the Malong. If you haven't searched up Malong, you should, definitely should, because Malong is really badass. The golden cloud beast Malong, probably. Malong. Very nice. Yeah, it's a Dragon Synchro and it's a tuner. Very, very important. It's a tuner effect monster from Cyberstorm Exit. If this card is special summoned, you can decrease its level 1 or increase its level to 1. Up to 1, so it either is level 5 or level 7. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So, because it's also a tuner, you can make it to level 5 or to level 7, and then you can go in some crazy synchro monsters that requires a synchro tuner monster to special summon them. And even if you send him via synchro summon to the grave, you can target one card your opponent controls and get it back to his hand. So very versatile card. Also very easy to cheat out via the Bestials and Duality. You summon any Bestial, for example Bestial Magnamut, then you play Duality on Magnamut, send Magnamut to the grave and special summon Malong. Because this card doesn't need to be synchro summoned, you know, you can just cheat it out from the Ixta deck. Yeah. Next one. Also very, very underdog card. A lot of people oversee this one, but it's actually badass. Don't try to translate that now. Steinbefreier entstiegener Drachit. It's a rock synchro effect, generic level 8 water. And this says, during your main phase, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do that, you can send back cards your opponent controls until the number of excavated rock monsters to the hand. And on top, you have to put the excavated cards in under your deck. And if your opponent activates a spell or trap card, or if a spell or trap effect is activated, as long as you have a water monster in your graveyard, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do that, you can destroy this card, and you can use this effect only once per turn. So this is very nice, because you can look at your deck, top 5 cards, what you're gonna draw, what not, and if you excavate any rock monsters, you can send cards back to the hand to your opponent. And if you have a water monster, if you have a water monster in your grave, then you can anytime negate the activation of a spell or trap card via quick effect, or you can negate the spell or trap effect of permanent spells or traps at any time via quick effect. Very nice if you have a water monster to grave. Love to play it. And the last one, yes, we have one more, then it's enough talking, enough input for today. Strange one again. Gaia Loe, die Kraft der Sonne. Gaia Loe, the power of the sun. I don't know. Sun Force. I don't know. Also from Duelist Nexus, Pyro Synchro Effect, one tuner and one non-tuner monster. And if this attacking card destroys opponent's monster via battle, then it can attack again. Once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, you can target fire monsters in your graveyard up to the monsters this card destroyed by battle, and you can add those fire monsters back to your hand. Very simple. Generic level 7 synchro monster. So also basically BLS, can attack twice if it destroys a battle via card effect, and you can back add your fire monsters from your grave back to your hand wherever this is useful. Right now I have no clue where this would be useful. Nice. But it definitely is useful somehow, some way, anywhere. I'm not too familiar with the fire archetype. The last time I played a fire typed deck was back in 2004 or 2005 with the Blaze of Destruction structure deck with the Infernal Flame Ruler. Yes, this was probably the last time I played a fire deck. Anyway, so much to that. No one cares about my life story. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.